The World Health Organization Director General says more than 8,000 children have been diagnosed and treated for acute malnutrition in Gaza. Now, this comes as the U.S. military says it's planning to suspend operations to its temporary pier today off the coast of Gaza. That pier was originally built to bring roughly 2 million meals a day into the region, but it experienced a series of setbacks. The military says it plans to move the structure to an Israeli port now to ride out some high seas and rough waves expected in the next few days. And this is the third time in a month now that structure has been deemed inoperable due to weather. So I want to bring in ABC News foreign correspondent Tom Soufi-Burridge in Tel Aviv, and again, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy for more on this. Tom, I know you just spoke to the World Food Programme's deputy executive director. What is he saying about the aid going into Gaza now?
Yeah, we spoke to Carl Skau, a former Swedish diplomat. He's right at the top of the World Food Programme. Look, I mean, he said to us that the threat of famine in Gaza is still very real, and what is really playing out on the ground are acute levels of malnutrition. Now, most of the problem a few weeks ago was focused in the north of Gaza, and what's interesting is that Carl Skau told us that the problem really is now shifting to the south, and that is because the IDF just a few weeks ago launched its military operation into the city of Rafah there. About 1 million people have been displaced, many of them pushed into camps just north of Rafah, and the crossing point from Egypt into Gaza at Rafah has been completely closed off by the Israeli military. So look, Carl Skau told us about the absolutely abhorrent conditions, in his words, in those refugee camps just north of Rafah, and really warned about the sort of looming risk, the health risk, the famine risk in that area. Take a listen.
But now with the operation in Rafah, and about 1 million people having been displaced, you know, that's where I'm really concerned, and that's where we really draw alarm at the moment. And here, you know, when we were there, we are driving through floods of sewage. It's really a public health disaster in the making.
And Diane, look, one of the problems is not just getting food into Gaza. The IDF is allowing, the Israeli authorities are allowing a lot of food into Gaza. One of the main problems is distributing it to the people most in need around the Gaza Strip while the war is ongoing.
And Mick, this U.S. pier raised hope of bringing in 2 million meals a day into Gaza, but it has experienced setback after setback. So what kind of an impact is that having on the expectations and the amount of aid getting into Gaza now? And what happens when this project is expected to end in August?
So, Diane, it's important to point out this temporary floating pier, it's called a JLOT, it's a Joint Logistics Over the Shore, is rated at certain sea states. So if the sea state gets too high, it could damage it. So it has to keep being removed and gone to safe harbor. But it can come back. As soon as the sea state allows, it can be pushed back within a matter of hours and restart delivery. And it's not really meant to be a replacement for any other means of delivery. The ground crossings, there's about 5 of them from Israel into Gaza. They should be open. This is meant to supplement it, and it still can. It just needs to be able to move back and forth, or it could get damaged to a point where it becomes very difficult and they have to have long-term repairs. So right now, it can add significantly to the aid going in, but they have to be very cautious with it, because if it breaks too significantly, it will be out of commission.
All right, Tom Soufi-Burridge, Mick Mulroy, thank you both.